Good morning, my friends. Here we are. It is Tuesday, and we are going to have another time of devotion. And we're going to continue talking about dealing with the difficult times in life. Specifically, this is perseverance that we're talking about. So, perseverance during the difficult times of life. This is part two because we talked about perseverance yesterday as well. Let me just give you a little bit of a update on what we're going to be doing for the rest of the week. So, we're going to talk about dealing with the difficult times in life again tomorrow, which will be Wednesday. And then on Thursday and Friday, we're going to do a specific tribute to mothers because Mother's Day is going to be Sunday. And I'm going to do a tribute specifically to my mother, who passed away on April 8th of 2020 on Thursday. And on Friday, I'm going to do a tribute to my wife, who was a mother of three. I would say a mother of many more if you count the godchildren that we had. And of course, we know that she was called from labor to reward on February 16th of this year. And so that's the plan for the rest of the week. We're going to finish up during the difficult times of life specifically. And tomorrow, I believe we're going to talk about trusting God during the difficult times of life. And then Thursday and Friday, we're going to have a Mother's Day tribute. But today is perseverance. So let's just jump right in. We're going to look at the book of James, and we're going to specifically look at James chapter 1, verses 2 through 10. So James chapter 1, verses 2 through 10. I think this is large enough, so I may not need my glasses here. So consider it pure joy. Now, this starts out really strange. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kind. Consider it joy when you are facing life's difficulty. Consider it joy when you are facing hardship. Consider it joy. Why should we consider it joy? Well, James isn't going to leave us just dangling out there. He's going to explain to us why we should consider it joy. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kind, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So what James is saying is when you face these trials, when you face these difficulties, that they help us to gain perseverance. Not only that, one thing that I have seen in my short time on this earth is that when we go through these difficulties, these storms in life, we do come out stronger. We do come out able to persevere. And I think one of the things that I have seen God do is that in our lives, what happens is at some point, someone else comes along who is now enduring something that we have already gone through. Now, to them, can seem like the worst thing ever, but we have gone through it. We have persevered. And so we can help to lift that individual up and strengthen them through their difficult time as well, because we've already been there. We've already persevered through the difficulty, persevered through the trial, persevered through the hardship. If any of you, this is verse 5, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. If you lack wisdom, ask God. And what I find interesting is this is a very specific statement. If you lack wisdom, ask for it. Didn't say ask for whatever you want, but if you lack wisdom, ask God for it, and God will be willing to answer that prayer. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like the wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all that they do. Believers in humble circumstance ought to take pride in their high position. What does he say here? Believers in humble circumstance ought to take pride in their high position. Wait a minute, you're in humble circumstances. How can you take pride in your high position? You don't have a high position. But let's see what James has to say. Believers in humble circumstances ought to take pride in their high position, but the rich should take pride in their humiliation. And in other words, there's an inverse here. Basically, what he's talking about is equality. We always talk about in our world today things such as equality, but what he's saying is that the humble have the high position, and the rich and the people of influence should take pride in a low position. In God's eyes, we're all the same, since they will pass away like a wildflower. For the sun rises with scorching heat and withers the plant. Its blossoms fall and its beauty is destroyed. In other words, we don't get to take any of it with us. In the same way, the rich will fade away even while they go about their business. Now, all of this culminates in this final section of text. Blessed is the one who perseveres. Blessed is the one who perseveres. In whatever we might be going through in life, blessed is the one who perseveres under trials, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. Now, the question might be, where do we get this strength to persevere from? It is not in and of ourselves. That strength to persevere comes from God. The strength to stand the test comes from God. We don't do it alone. God isn't saying, oh, these hard times, these trials, these difficulties are going to come. Just persevere. Just keep a stiff upper lip. Just deal with it alone. No, that is not what he's saying. God gives us the strength to persevere through the power of the Holy Spirit, which is in us. So we are not persevering alone, but we can persevere through the difficult times of life, and maybe just be a blessing to someone else later on who perseveres, who needs to persevere. Probably the best example that I see of this is one of the things that my wife and I used to do was we would make friends with people who had been married for a long time. When I say a long time, I'm talking about people who have been married 50, 60 years. Because if you've been married that long, you know a little bit about marriage. And trust me, as you have persevered through some things. And so we would look at these individuals as mentors, because they've been through some of those difficulties. They've been through the hardships. They've been through the storms, and they have persevered. How do we know they persevered? Because they're still together. They still are able to continue in their marriage. Now, that doesn't always happen that way. I was reading an article today that Bill and Melinda Gates are divorcing after 27 years. Wow. That is a case where they were unable to persevere. We need to make sure that in all of these difficulties and hardships that we may face in life, that we remember that God is with us, and we can. And if we lean on God, we will persevere during the difficulty. times of life. May God bless you and keep you. May heaven continue to smile upon you and grant you peace. God bless you until we meet again.